In 1965, I had the honor of going with Soke to pick up Master Ohtsuka Shihan from the airport. And I had a lecture ahead of time. You carry the bags, you walk behind, you don't say anything unless you're said something to, and try to be good for a change, Ronnie. Lani, as Soke always said. So we went to the airport, we picked him up, we took him to the hotel, and as everybody that's flown from Japan knows, you get in the morning from Japan after flying all night. So Ohtsuka Shihan went to his room and relaxed, and that evening we had class. Before the class started, Soke said, pay attention, Lani, do not ask questions. You get people confused when you ask questions. If anybody has a question, you ask me and I'll ask him. But try not to ask questions and try to train hard. So with that admonition, class got ready to start, and we did by then we had the dojo precepts. We did the dojo precepts, and we bowed, and then Ohtsuka Shihan started teaching, and he's teaching the Wado Ryu way. By what I meant by the Wado Ryu way is short stance, body shifting, everything, sidestepping, everything, and not a basic class at all. Basics, but not basics like you think about teaching regular students. It was, again, for advanced students. And of course, everybody was advanced to first, second, third, or fourth degree black belt. So it was all a black belt class. But it was really, really good. So when the class was over with and we bowed and trained relatively hard, and then at the end, in English, Soke told us that if he caught any of us teaching those techniques to white belts, or even showing them to white belts, we'd have a little time in Seiza. This is for black belts and black belts only, and I don't want to see you standing up like that either. Because the whole concept was you're building strength in your body if you have a low stance. But it was great watching Ohtsuka Shihan teach. At that time, he's still in his 70s, and he's moving very well for somebody 70, and that's what Soke kept saying. You got to remember his age, and I actually thought of Mr. Young last week when I was watching him. He's 84 years old in Homo Senpai's class, and thinking was basically the body that Ohtsuka Shihan was at that time, and how well Mr. Young moves, and how unbelievably smooth Ohtsuka Shihan was in that time. So the stuff that transpired after that was very, very hard for Soke, because, and remember, he had been training with Ohtsuka Shihan for basically 5 or 6 years or more. By that time it had been 8 or 9 years, and Ohtsuka Shihan was the reason he got to go to college. So the split was very, very difficult for Soke to swallow. It was not something easy, and it was difficult for Soke to have Katsumi Sensei go to Shotokan to learn to have a certificate for teaching. But as Soke would say, the only thing that's constant is change, and change is always constant. And Soke had to change and adapt karate for the change in relationships with Ohtsuka Shihan. And just as a footnote, his instructor, Kawaguchi Sensei, always promoted Soke. So up until 8th degree black belt, Kawaguchi Sensei promoted him. And as far as Soke was concerned, 8th degree was the highest anybody could get. Now afterwards they promoted, somebody presented Ohtsuka Shihan with 10th degree, but Soke would have never agreed with that because he would say 10th is perfection and nobody's perfect. With that I'll say, Os Soke.